Okay, so this is a quick video, and I just wanted to have this place, since it's all for logs, to dedicate what conversations I had day to day. Today, I had a lot of different topics, and obviously that's not a new thing. I always go left turns. Okay, so I have written down all I wanted to say to this person today. So the first one is that therapy is a pyramid scheme. Let me explain. Not in a sense of a conventional pyramid scheme where you enter and then you bring in more people and those people bring in more people. No. More in the sense that it's a grueling cycle of therapy and therapists finding therapists and therapists finding therapists. Let me tell you, because I have somewhere locked up in my brain also. Do not take me by my word, okay? I am just a girl trying to enjoy her girly things and her girly discussions, okay? So, basically, okay, a couple of people probably need to go to therapy. But there's also people who became therapists who start their business listening to people talk about their problems in therapy to them, and they're like, wow, I kind of need therapy too. So then these therapists need other therapists to have therapy about their therapy. So then there's a therapist for a therapist. And then those therapists are like, hey, I kind of need therapy too. And those therapists or for therapists have a therapist. And I think that cycle continues. Maybe is it just a giant circle? Because these therapists can go to this therapist and this therapist. I don't know. But either way, the numbers are increasing. And that is all I know. At least I think I do. Okay. Number two. Number two is just an observation. I think I have never grown up in this environment where, a religious environment, let's just say, okay? The fullest extent was my mom and dad arguing about which religion they believed in, and me occasionally going to the temple because my mother's side is Buddhist. Kinda. My mom isn't even that, doing prayers every day devotee. My mom's side, grandparents kinda are, but I've never personally connection, no. And I think I'm living my quirky, goofy life, and I have no, I don't want to, whatever, anyways. But I think I have some mixed queasiness, if I would word it right, with religious culture. Like culture surrounding the religion. Because I have talked to this person and I first said, maybe I have discomfort around religion. And then this person was like, do you have discomfort around religion or the surrounding culture? Bam, of course, culture. What did we conclude? We concluded that it's just the wizards doing it, okay? It's just the wizards that do this. Period. Okay. And then we also briefly talked about, because I am doing the satire news column thing, we said, I was trying to do a column that says, don't blame your problems on yourself. Blame it on the moon. Maybe it's just not your retrograde. Maybe your star sign is sort of suffering right now, okay? It's not you that's ruining your relationship. It's the wavelength from the moon, okay? The gravity messing up the stars, messing up your star sign. And then we have talked about how for example, I'm an Aries. So how I, being an Aries, can be just seen as a mathematical number. Because the stars always stay in the same place. It's just Earth's rotation and its axis. So an Aries, me, can be signified by the x-axis of the, Earth and, this position of this rotation. Apparently, allegedly, is what I heard. And I said, that is also smart, observation. I vibe with that. Okay, and then this one is sort of on the left curb here. Let me explain why. this was why I wanted to have a discussion with this person in the first place. I had some sort of happening last week Wednesday. I kind of don't want to explain the emotional turmoil that I went through last week Wednesday, so I'm gonna save that for later. I'm gonna save that for when I am done, when I am not tired of repeating myself to 4 different people, period. So, I had an incident, and that person helped me go through that stuff, okay? Not as in, like, oh my gosh, I was beside you and, like, checking in. No, but that person was there when I wanted to talk to that person, and that person was there when I started sobbing uncontrollably. And then that person ultimately advised me to do the next step, and I think that was the right next step, so I am grateful for that. But in the meantime, while I was crying, this person said, "You are a sensitive person," and this. In midst of describing me, and said, "You are sensitive," and I, of course, had in hindsight, I could recognize where this was coming from, but when I was listening to that in the first place, I could have only felt like sensitive. Societally, people say, "Oh, you're so sensitive," or the only words when sensitive was used, those contexts were, "Oh, you're so overreacting," or "I'm upset at what you're saying, so I just want you to shut up," or like, "Stop making a big deal out of this." Overreacting is essentially what I have personally received as. So that was what I could only think of. And then, I think the following day, I have met with another person in high authority. Let's just put it at that. High authority. And this person knew what I went through the day before, Wednesday, and this Thursday. So then Thursday, this person was bringing up the incident, like hinting at it and being like, and literally said verbatim, "You would not be good at poker because you can, as they say, you wear your emotions on your sleeve." Excuse me? Was that supposed to be comforting? Was I supposed to thank you? Was I supposed to be like, "Oh my gosh, I really didn't know that. Oh my gosh, thank you for the, comment. I would not play poker thanks to you." Like, excuse me? Excusez-moi. You think that is supposed to be, the right. Anyways, I talked to another person that I hold dearly, and that person advised me in this situation, when someone says that, to be like, "I'm not sure if calling me that or labeling me like this is productive to the conversation. Let's move back to our main topic." And I think that is sort of a very mature way to handle it. And I don't know, with that comment, and what happened the day before, I decided to talk to this person, and that person was the person that I had all these conversations with. And, I really, really care for this person, and I think the person also really, really cares for me and our communication. So I brought it up and said this whole thing of sensitive in a societal perspective, let's say, is maybe more negative or more you're overreacting. And I asked this person, "What is your definition of sensitive? What goes through your mind when you get called sensitive or you call someone else sensitive?" And this person said, "I think when I say it, it means you just have more sense. You feel more than the average person." And I said, I understood that. But then when you said you are sensitive to me, and I was in an emotional state, the only thing that I could relate to was societally accepted value, which was what my definition was. And it was, you are a bit too overreacting. This is too much. You are too much. And although it didn't, hurt me, because I could rationalize all the, oh, this person meant this definition afterwards, I still went from, you're sensitive, oh, you're overreacting to, oh no, this person meant this. So I still had to go through that feeling of a bit of discomfort and hurt before landing ultimately on the final answer or final intent. So I was saying, one, when I don't know if the other person stance or other person's view on this word is, if I don't know what this person thinks of as sensitive, then would I have to bend my definition and adhere to what societal definitions say and describe that person as is? Because that person might tie the word to the societal definition and we don't know that saying yet. And it's more of a whim, more of a spur decision to say, oh, you are sensitive. You don't think that out and you don't investigate first. And I don't think it's often a question to ask, hey, what do you think about the word sensitive? What is your definition of it? And then that person said, I don't think that person personally would switch their definition because of societal values, and usually changing your perspective is for the positive, so it is good. And then we also had this thought of this sort of communication is something that builds off of multiple passes, and it builds off of care, and it builds off of, I want to know what you care about and I care about you. And because of that shared sentiment, and because this was my second time talking about what sensitive means to this person, I understood it more. And I when I was hearing the comment, also understood that this person didn't meant of harm, or this person didn't meant because they were upset or implying this in a negative tone. But there was still this air that I wanted to clear and also just talk about in general. And I think that was really helpful. And I think that was the main conversation that I wanted to steer towards, because it was just something on my mind, and this person wants to do things where they help people, and maybe they say sensitive or any other tone that talks about a person's character, and it's like different from their point of view. Like, this person has, I think, a mature and positive mindset on certain words, and I think that's better. And I think I will adopt the definition of sensitive, and that person has, that they have. But on the other hand, it's also a challenge for me to be thinking this way and then hear the societal values of sensitive put onto me, and me having to switch around. But it's ultimately, who do you care, and which opinion do you care, and what you're gonna let into your life. So that was just a conversation that I had. We also have a new kid in our grade. Puzzling indeed, because we only have 3 months of school left. But we do welcome her. She is, I think, sort of very extroverted. And honestly, high school, you don't have a lot of school periods together. So that's it. And thank you for listening. And yes, this is probably not even going to be edited. But hope you at least enjoyed. If you have any further discussion in any of the topics, if I remind you, therapy is a pyramid scheme. Wizards and religious culture, and the feelings that I have towards that, and then ultimately blame your powers on the moon and the stars axis, and you being humans just being numbers, and lastly, you are sensitive and the implications of it. Thank you, and see you on a next discussion.